Welcome back, everybody, to LJ's Comic Borough. Dear God, it's fucking 2 o'clock in the motherfucking morning. So, I want to say to you, good morning, happy late new comic book day. And for everybody here on the East Coast, guess what? It's only a countdown, 2 more days to Baltimore Comic Con. That's right, motherfuckers. It's going to be 2 more days. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I haven't gotten to go in the last couple years. So, I am super stoked. I'm going to show you guys the 3 books that I am going to get graded. I'm going to get signed and graded. I'm so super stoked to have these artists actually get signed them for me. One book I'm actually sending out to CGC in Florida. I found out that he's down there and not with the rest of us up here in Baltimore, which is fine. It's just going to take me a little bit extra time to get that book back, but from what I gather, what you do is you drop it off in Baltimore, and they'll actually send it down for you. So yes, super excited! I can't wait to show you guys those books. Now, like I said, everybody that has watched this show, I'm usually 2 weeks behind on my comic books. So what I'll do is I'll show you my books. I'm poor. That's the secret why I'm a little behind. I'm poor. Dear God, stop being so judgmental. So I'm going to tell you about the books I got to pick up. And I did read. I spent lots of times reading this morning, trying to get this show up and ready to go, and be a little bit prepared instead of just saying, "Look, this is a pretty cover. This is a good story." Now I get to actually talk about and tell you a little bit about the story. Another thing is I do have a co-host. I will be showing off one of my rescues. So, without further delay, I might as well get him ready, because he is sitting around just wondering what the fuck is going on, alright? Just give me a second here. Now, this is Beast. We ended up rescuing him and his 3 friends at the same time. He came with Mickey, Kirby, and Wasp. And yes, Jack, the King Kirby, I did name him after that. He was my all albino baby, but unfortunately he is no longer with us. So, without further delay here, let me show you Beast. Now, I'm going to let you know something, a little bit about Beast. He is an awesome little boy, but I could not tell you if he was named after the Disney character or if he was named after the Marvel character. My wife named him and thought it was a great name, and he is so super psyched to be a part of this show right now, but he wants to run and play, and I unfortunately can't let him go out there and do that right now. So hopefully he gets to calm down a little bit more, and I'll get to show him off a little bit later. So, let's talk about comics, alright? The first thing I want to do is I want to start going over some of these Fall of X comics that I've got here for you. Alright, so I actually have somewhat of a reading order. I've looked it up, like I said, several times, and it's kind of confusing on where they want to head and how they want us to read these books. But I've got something, so hopefully it's making sense. And so far, right now, it is. So, let's get into this a little bit. X-Force 43. This was left on an amazing cliffhanger, I'll be honest with you. So far, this actually fit in very nicely. The explanation and the more of a backstory. I think this story was. I think it fits in perfectly so far, without skipping a beat. From the beginning to right now, I'm going to say, picked up this book. This is definitely worth your time. If you're reading the Fall of X, X-43. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a few that I still got my head scratching, and I was told again about another book that I actually missed. So I mean, I'll talk about that in a second. Iron Man, Invincible, the Invincible Iron Man #9, and I do love that little ode to John Romita right there in the corner. This is starting to set up. This is starting to set up the relationship and the soon to be future wedding. And I don't know if you guys have actually looked ahead on what the covers and stuff like that are coming out next. But little spoiler: there is a future wedding supposedly planned, and this is setting it up. This is setting up the relationship between the White Queen and Tony Stark. So, like, I mean, perfect storytelling. I don't understand what people have against Duggan, but so far what I've read, and it's not much, I get it, but what I've read, I mean, there's so far he's been on pinpoint with this story. So he's writing a lot of it, and he has surrounded himself with a great team. Okay, Louise Simonson. I didn't know what I was picking up when they said this was part of Fall of X. And in the beginning, there's so much I really like to be able to talk about and I'd like to explain, but unfortunately, without giving it away, this tells the perfect story, and is the perfect backstory of Jean Grey, from child to, I guess it's going to be 4 issues, into child into the time that you actually see her more again in the actual Fall of X story. So this was basically here until maybe the first iteration of the X-Men, and they sat there and they explained everything so perfectly. Louise Simonson, amazing job. This is definitely a great story. Even if you weren't reading Fall of X, this is a perfect story to read about Jean Grey, if you're a huge fan. And if you're a huge fan of George Perez, this is going to be one for you. Beautiful George Perez cover for Jean Grey. Right here. Like I said, I absolutely love George Perez covers. You guys have been watching my show now. You also know that I love George Perez covers. Perfect cover for this. Perfect book. All right. I got 2 more books just from the Realm of X that I picked up, and it was 2 weeks. I got the Realm of X, which pretty much explains what's going on with what's happening with the mutants and where they're located and what's the backstory and where they're at this time. So another perfect countdown, another perfect story. I absolutely love this book. This definitely gave me some kind of answers of what's going on without me being able to, blow up your phone here and tell you what's actually happening. Go out, get this series. So far, I haven't said anything bad until supposedly I read Deadpool #10, and then that's not even anything about this series. But it has a little Fall of X, so this, I'm not a big Kamala fan. It does go along perfect, but unfortunately for me, it's a little too childish and hokeish. So it's just kind of one of those books where I know I have to read because something happened to Miss Marvel, and I've got to follow along with the story. She does have a prominent role in this story. It's just she hasn't shown it yet, unfortunately. She's just starting to become an X-Men. So they're not giving her a big role, but she supposedly is supposed to take on a larger role just in this book, in this series alone. So Miss Marvel, #1, I should say 1 of 5. But they're my Fall of X stories that I actually picked up. Now, if you want a great horror story, this is where you go. Perfect story about a man who absolutely loves his daughter and what he does to try to bring her home when he feels that he can, when she's stuck inside the belly of a whale. perfect perfect horror story. I absolutely love Ice Cream Man. It's one of those books I think that if you haven't started reading yet, go out, pick up a copy. You can pick up anywhere. The only thing that absolutely connects every one of the stories is there's an ice cream man, and he's pretty fucking scary. So pick it up. Now, you guys, if you guys have watched me, I should say, not that I shouldn't assume that you do, but if you guys watch me, I'm a huge Jed McKay fan. So when annuals are usually written for Spider-Man, Moon Knight, who else? God, Wolverine, whatever annuals that are usually written, they're never usually written by the same guy who actually writes the individual stories. Probably because the annuals have an ongoing storyline that matches somebody else's story. But the one thing I am going to say is Jed McKay broke that shit. He broke that mold and went with it. Here is annual number 1, Moon Knight. And that's where I'm going to leave it. There's 2 pages of just people screaming. And I'm not kidding. So, Jed McKay, I know you weren't into probably being brought in to write for this story alone. So I get it. You filled 2 pages of just going, ah! Congratulations for at least getting the book out and at least doing the writing for your character. You wanted to make sure your character stayed true to what was going on. So I do appreciate that. But this is one of those books you don't need to read. It sucks. Absolutely sucks. Like I said, 2 pages of ah! And it just goes through the panels. Oh, I got this hoping this would be awesome. And I will say this story was at least better than the last story I read. It's the Death of Venomverse number 3. The best thing about this book right here is that's Venomized Peter Porker. Alright? That motherfucker looks like he's going to scare me. Just imagine regular Peter Porker. And then you just put a Venom suit, and this fucker looks like he is going to kick my ass. Best thing, I think this is the Tyler Kirkham, or God, I actually forget who did this, who does this cover. But if you're going to go out and you're going to get a book just for the cover, this is the cover that you get. Don't read inside. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's this story at least was better than the last one, but still not good. That doesn't make it good because it's better than the last one. It just makes it better than the last one. All right, guys. Now, Al Ewing. I want to thank you, Al Ewing, for picking up another Marvel series, and this is definitely the series. This is definitely the series you should pick up. It just came out a week ago, and I'm pretty sure there's a few issues still out there in your local comic book store. So, if my opinion means anything, this is the series that you need to start picking up. The Immortal Thor. And it is dark, it is grimy, it's got some laughs, but dear God, it is kick-ass from beginning to pretty much end, just with everything going on. It's a lot of dark grays, a lot of dark greens. It just sets a stage for something crazy that's coming. And this is my Peach Momoko. I usually don't get Peach, but I saw this cover and I thought, oh my God, this is a beautiful cover. So, This is my Peach Momoko cover. This is not my Peach Momoko cover. This is my Alex Ross cover. Beautiful Alex Ross cover. He is going to be doing cover A for each one of the books. As you can tell, this shit is fucking hype. This is awesome. Love it. Okay. George Perez. Meet motherfucking George Perez. Right here. The Immortal Thor. Perfect George Perez. Perfect George Perez. Wow. I don't even know who did this, but I like shiny comics. This is beautiful, though. Look at that metal comic right here. Light it up. Awesome, 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 awesome. Awesome. It just... Come on. Come on. Even if you don't even like the... Like the shit, that is a pretty fucking cool electric cover. That's pretty awesome. I am so happy Batman's back. This is probably the only book I actually did not get to read yet, and I will once I get my new issues of Batman. I want to set the stage and read it all at once here for me. This is the Gotham War. Batman, Catwoman, Gotham War. I did get the shiny cover. I paid $2 more, but it was well worth it. I mean, just look at that cover. That is so awesome, so beautiful, and oh my god, I see myself in it. This is amazing. I do love those shiny covers. Todd McFarlane fan, right here. So when it was announced that they were doing a shiny cover here for a Todd McFarlane comic book, I had to definitely get this one. It's my very favorite comic. I absolutely had as a kid, and then I got blessed. I won a motorcycle, and I just said I didn't want the motorcycle. I took the cash, and I picked up the book again. So this is the shiny version of Amazing Spider-Man 300. Look how beautiful this book is. I only spent $12.99 for this one, but this is definitely a pretty fucking cool shiny book. So Todd McFarlane goodness. This is Todd McFarlane at his very young peak. Obviously, he's still making some amazing covers and doing some good things over there at the Gunslinger Spawn. Now, I do have one more George Perez. Marvel Age released. Marvel released Marvel Age 1000, and it's a bunch of little small stories. Nothing having to do with actually what's going on in the Marvel universe. It was just written by a bunch of people giving respect to a bunch of the characters that they absolutely love and grew up. I read it. I was definitely happy with every one of those stories. So this is Marvel Age, George Perez cover of Captain Marvel, the only Captain Marvel, not that shitty one that was in the movies. The only good Captain Marvel. This motherfucker was so badass they had to kill him by cancer. This is the man right here. But George Perez cover, I absolutely love this. Love his drawings for Captain Marvel. Jim Sterling. This is a Jim Sterling basically version of Captain Marvel. Took him out of that green and I think of like a gloomy white and put him in this, and Captain Marvel was popping after that. He definitely took on the universe. All right, so I am only doing 3 books this year. It is what it is. Was what it was, which means I have more money to spend on other things. So I've had this book in my collection for a little bit, and obviously the writer is going to be there at Baltimore Comic Con. I'm really excited about that. I'm getting my Ghost Rider #1 Volume 2 side. This bad boy is definitely coming with me. Now, the two books that I actually was talking about, hoping that I'd actually get it signed. This gentleman, Ron Perez, is going to be in Florida at the CGC. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say fuck the middleman. I'm just going to send my shit right down there to Florida, and that's how I'll actually save money instead of going around and getting 50 million different signatures. Because I was going to. That's right. It is Amazing Spider-Man 252. So I was going to go around, and a lot of the earlier artists are actually going to be at Comic-Con. The ones that actually worked on the Black Suit, including Arthur Adams and Al Mil. Oh God, that name is going to now haunt me. But like I said, there's going to be a lot of the very first people that actually worked on this Black Suit. And then I saw Ron Perez is actually going to be in Florida, and I said, fuck it, I'm going to save some extra money if I actually just send the book down there and just have him sign it, and it'll just have one signature. But I mean, the motherfucker made this shit pop, so I might as well get his signature for this book. And last but not least, this is I'm a Jim Starlin fan. I don't care. He's one of the best artists and writers of the 70s and 80s, and created some of the best storylines I think that you could ever do with Mr. George Perez, with this guy right here. So this book right here and this guy right here did a lot of team-ups. This is Strange Tales 179, the first appearance of Pip. Now, I as a side character, there's a couple side characters that I feel are ranked #1, and everybody has their own opinion on this one. My side character is Pip the Troll and Damian Wayans. They're my two favorite side characters. So if I got a chance, and if you look at this, that is beautiful. This looks like it just came off the press today. So I'm gonna get this baby signed, have it sent out, and hopefully I get a really high grade with this book. And I will show it off once I get the book back. So, one, I want to thank you all for joining me for this show. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. If you guys can, make it down to Baltimore Comic-Con. I will definitely say, if you stop me and say, hey, you're the idiot that's on that TV show. Yes, I will talk to you and go, yes, I'm that idiot. If you ever want to rescue an animal, make sure you do ask questions. Make sure you do the research. Make sure you know that you're going to be able to be there for them through thick and thin. This is my wife's little beast. He is such a good boy, and I'm going to have to put him down here in a minute because once this little boy starts waking up, he's going to be dancing all over this room. So, from my family to your family, thank you again. Tune in next week. I'll see you then. Peace. And one more thing. If you like what you're watching, you like what you're seeing, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Best thing about doing this show is to be able to talk to everybody here with like minds and be able to have a conversation about one of the greatest things and greatest hobbies that we can do is comic books. So, talk to you later. Catch ya.